excluding cheating and lying. What's your biggest deal breaker in a relationship? Not being able to say sorry / resolve problems level-headedly. If I can't bring you an issue without getting yelled at, or you making yourself the victim, forget it. Really bad hygiene. Yep. If I have to suggest that you go shower, I feel like a parent more than a significant other. And I'm not talking the occasional situation where you're really tired, put it off until the next morning or such. I mean consistently going 3 days without one. Denying my faults and insisting I'm perfect might sound weird, but it puts on a crazy amount of pressure on you. I'll kill myself if you ever break up with me. 911. Bush has entered the chat. Tests. Mature adults do not run tests on their partner's loyalty, responsibility, kindness, spirituality, whatever the hell. That shit is for children playing house. I test my girlfriend patience every day, to be honest. An unwillingness to make an effort to enjoy my interests with me. If you tell me your favorite album, I will listen to it. Your favorite movie, I will watch it. If you wanna go dancing, I'll go with. I just expect some effort back. This is huge. One thing I love about my wife that I think I underappreciate at times. She goes headfirst into any hobby or interest of mine without question every time, 100%. I try to do the same back for her, but fear it's unbalanced. I really should try harder. To clarify, I'm interested in all of her interests. I just don't stick it out to the extent she would for me. I'll play that game, or try that book, or that instrument etc. But it's anybody's guess how long it'll last before I give up and move on. Being horrible with finances. Broke up with someone due to multiple reasons. This was one part of it. So you're saying that my debt is more important than I am? Is something I heard over and over. No, but the way that you are handling your debt, not handling it at all, is a pretty big effing issue. And your reaction to me bringing up financial topics in general, in a nice way, that is also an issue. He had some school loans and medical debt, both of which were reasonable and manageable, especially considering he had graduated somewhat recently. It made sense that he'd have debt. And I didn't have a problem with him having debt. But being unable to talk about it, consistently spending every paycheck, not putting money towards paying off the debt, and not making any moves to increase earnings / savings or reduce expenses. Yeah, that's an issue for me. Especially when his car was really old and could have an expensive breakdown at any time, and yet he still wouldn't budget for repairs and or an eventual replacement. A relationship is a partnership, and I don't want to tie myself down with somebody who consistently makes poor decisions. That would put both of us constantly at risk of a financial crisis. Failing to see that you have a hand in your own misery. When everything bad is always happening to you, it's likely that it's, at least to some small respect, your fault. Lack of conscientiousness. Being inconsiderate, entitled and selfish makes for a burdensome partner. Interestingly enough, while I can agree with you, I also always tag this particular statement as a yellow flag in potential partners. Having grown up in a multicultural household, I've learned that conscientiousness and considerate behavior is often strongly tied to a person's cultural identity. In this town, we've always done this type of social behavior. In my country, we expect that type of reciprocal action. In my family, we strongly associate love with these type of activities. This stuff can be very subtle, to the point that people very often take it as common knowledge and get frustrated when their so doesn't get it. I've seen too many cross-cultural relationships end because neither side is able to identify the underlying social and or cultural practices causing the strife. Indifference. If I love you, I'm going to try to make an effort to show you forever. If it's not working, I'm going to try to understand why it's not working and figure out if there's something I can do differently. If you're not willing to meet me halfway on that, deal breaker. In my experience, this is quite common. Also, I have found that this kind of apathy tends to infect the rest of that person's life. Like, they don't live life with any real passion. Adding unnecessary stress to things that have no need at all for stress. Getting a text at work, "Hey, can we talk later?" It's kinda important, only to find out she just wants you to know she's going to a movie with her friend in 3 days. Perhaps this is a behavior she learned in a previous relationship. My so's ex was super controlling, and it took her a while to learn that I was happy for her to live her own life. Putting me through tests and not giving me personal space/alone time. If I want to take more tests, I'll go get another degree. There are times where I want the company of me, myself, and I only. I like to think about things long and hard, and that normally goes better in solitude. I'm very comfortable being alone. You should be too, because I won't always be there. 2. When I first started dating my husband, he was around all the time. One night, he showed up, and I told him I wanted to be alone. I worked 40 hours a week, had 2 young boys, and just needed some me time while they were at their dad's house. I wanted a bubble bath, takeout, and a good book. He offered to grab the takeout for me. I agreed, and he came back with dinner for 1, flowers, and a magazine he knew I liked. Knocked on the door, handed me my shit, snuck a quick kiss, and went home. May 13th will be our 19th wedding anniversary. People who treat their parents awfully when their parents are nice, normal people. I was dating a guy, and he invited me on a road trip with his parents, who were super nice. We stopped at a museum, and he was wearing PJs, so his mom suggested he put on some jeans. He started yelling at her about how he didn't want to put on real pants, so I yelled at him not to yell at his mom, and told him he better put on real pants or he could stay in the car alone. God, what a brat. We broke up shortly after. For me, I'm a guy, is a woman who isn't an equal partner. I think women should initiate dates, physical intimacy, and pay for things at equal amounts. When a woman doesn't even bother offering or ever initiating things, I lose interest really quickly. Now, of course, I'm rational about it. If I'm dating a woman who loses her job soon after we start dating, I won't dump her because she isn't offering to pay for dinners out. But I still think she has an obligation to initiate and maybe plan things. You are broke, no problem, but maybe plan a date in the park or something. 100%. I have no interest in a woman with no agency and who has weird ideas about gender roles. Everyone likes to feel wanted, attractive, get presents, surprises, etc. I love doing stuff for my partner, but nothing is fun when it's one-sided. In order from least to worst. Conspiracy theorist, fake moon landing, flat earth, etc. MLM Honbot. Guys, you have got to try my new Young Living blah blah. Anti-vaxxer. Any one of those 3 will make me immediately go for Lency, like immediate. If we're driving somewhere and they end up saying they're an anti-vaxxer, I will tuck and roll out of the car. I have no patience for that level of stupid. Having clashing ideas of how you'd want to spend the rest of your lives. Being judgmental with how I spend my free time, plus expecting me to spend 100% of my free time on you. Preach. I had an ex that didn't have as many friends/hobbies/responsibilities as me, and they were unhappy with the amount of time I committed to them. It's totally cool if you expect that of a partner, but it was definitely a sour spot for us since we disagreed. I was this type of partner, and later I realized it myself. She had broken up with me for other reasons, but we ended on good terms, so I confessed this to her and apologized because it was immature on my part. She was really happy that I had come to realize it by myself and said it didn't matter. I still firmly believe it does matter, but I think she just wanted to be nice to me. I think that ignorance or comparing me to some other guy would be a deal breaker for me. I absolutely hate being compared to other people, exes, past flings, etc. Sure, I may have something in common with another person, but if I'm being compared to someone else on a regular basis, I'm out. If you can't see me as an individual, then we have no business being together. Really bad jealousy towards the opposite sex. I've seen it happen. Guy gets a so, she kept giving him shit for being around women. He stopped going anywhere because he got tired of getting constantly checked up on and didn't have the guts to have a real discussion about it. Finally they break up. It wasn't healthy for him or for her. I knew a guy from my hometown that isn't allowed to hang out alone with a woman. Now that I think about it, it's probably because he cheated. A dislike of giraffes. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.